Yeah, come on. That's it, that's the video. This was 15 minutes of me coaxing my dog to cuddle with me. Yeah! It's about that time. I've got the hankering to, well, short-lived but sweet. I've got the hankering to make clothes out of things that maybe shouldn't be clothes. And don't worry, for all you pastel and shiny haters, you're safe. We're back. I want to make two different things. A dress based off of a fast fashion one that I saw on ye old internet. A corset based on this one that I saw, again, on the internet. It was very expensive. I don't know exactly what I want to make the corset out of, but let me show you what I want to make the dress out of. Ignore that. Oh, it's still there. Whatever, I don't care. Quite a while ago, while perusing IKEA, I saw this duvet cover and sheets. Perhaps. It's just been sitting. Kind of feel like this is a little too busy. This room's got a lot going on, in case you haven't noticed. So that means that this is not being used and probably won't be used. What better way to finally fulfill its purpose? Turning it into something I can wear on my body. Oh, whoa. I feel like I'm gonna disappear. Double-sided, which gives me double the amount of fabric. I think this will be enough to make a dress out of. Yeah. I am going to use this as kind of a design inspo. Quite excited about. I don't often wear a lot of patterns. As I'm getting more and more decrepit, I feel it is time to give the people what they want. The old razzle dazzle. I'm probably gonna stick with bed sheets for the corset as well, which means we have to do a little digging in my stash. After you. Surprise, my barn is also a literal catastrophe. Betty, you know I adore you, but you're scaring the people. What's this? These are curtains. Option number one. Option number two, I actually just bought. I might go with this. I love the stripes. I'm sticking with green. Why? I'll tell you why. Whilst antique shopping, I found little fake leaves, but they're made of velvety kind of material. A bunch of them. So I thought, how fun would it be to stick these on a piece of clothing, really dial up the whimsy, because it's my personal opinion that clothes are boring. So let's very quickly talk about my vision for both of these pieces. And we are back again making clothing out of other people's discards, including my own, because I'm the trash man. So I'm going to follow this inspiration picture for this dress pretty faithfully, including the little ruched chest and the little ribbon around the neck, except I don't know how to do elastic shirring just yet, so it's just going to be solid stitches. And then for the corset, I am going to take a corset that I wear all the friggin' time and try to replicate the pattern. And then of course, as discussed, we're trying to make this whimsical as hell. But before we move on, this video is sponsored, so to talk a little bit about that, here is sponsor Rachel. Hi, let's talk about my most favorite thing about being alive, food. The sponsor for this week's video is Thrive Market. Thrive Market is your place to get your healthy groceries online, super convenient. You can get all your favorite brands you love without the crazy price tag. Go on, search for what you want. You can even search by diet, dietary restrictions like gluten-free. They restrict over 1,000 questionable ingredients. So everything that they carry on site, you can trust that it's gonna be good for you. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Nick and I, we're big snackers. I feel better that I told you that. We are toddler level snackers. Nick always gets really excited when I place an order for Thrive. You can get stuff for us to munch on at night without that guilt because you can get healthy snacks. Let's take a look at what I got this time. Again, everything is super reasonable. If I were to get all of this from my local grocery store, let me do a little math here. It would be over $40 more expensive. Plus the added convenience of it just showing up at your door a couple days later. Last but not least, not only do they have good stuff, they're also doing good stuff. Through the Thrive Gives initiative, for every paid annual membership, they donate a free membership to someone in need. That is Thrive Market. If you are a big snacker or you just need groceries delivered right to your door, I highly, highly recommend. If you want to check it out and start shopping, you can head to the link in my description or head to thrivemarket.com/RachelMaksy for 30% off of your first order and a free gift. Thank you so much, Thrive Market, for sponsoring this video. And without further ado, I think we should get started on this dress. It just so happens that the first one that I picked out actually would work perfect for this. And then it was finally time to put away Frodo's bed, if we're being honest. This has not been put away since last December or earlier, so I had so much room for activities. But then it was time to get to business.
I know, I'm sorry, I'm a horrible mother.
One of the coolest things about sewing to me is that if you look at the pattern pieces, it's really not that complicated and it's kind of like a puzzle. All right, this is what we've got. The 2 bodice pieces, the sleeve, the midriff, skirt pieces, and then these are the lower band, which if you look at the pattern, it's this section right here. I think I'm probably gonna skip that part and just make it solid all the way through. And then to make this more how I want it, this is the bodice front. You actually put this on a fold. I just make the fold over here and do a straight line, then I will be able to gather it. You dig? No time to lose. Let's friggin' do it. Then comes a very crucial and very professional method I like to call Zamboniing. Batch number 1, ready to be cut out. The other 2 pattern pieces have to be cut on a fold, so we're just gonna do this first. This is a lot of fabric. I could make like 3 dresses out of this. Anyways, let's get to snipping. So as discussed, I did do the fold trick, but there was a slight problem. To prevent the spillage of any bubbles, I went back to the drawing board. Very easy. You basically just want to make them look like a pool floaty by gathering the top and making sure that it fits your arm. Then I just did the safety pin trick with some elastic on the bottom of the sleeves to properly make it look like a flotation device. Good morning. We're in a good sitchy with the dress up there. Pretty much there. I just need to stitch everything together and hemming and zippers and stuff. A lot more progress on that yesterday than I thought it was going to do, which is always nice. Second part of this video is a little bit more complicated. And looking back, I probably should have started this because it's filling me with a little bit of dread. I thought my dread capacity was at max, but turns out I had a little bit extra room. I am going to try to deconstruct one of my absolute favorite articles of clothing I've ever put on my meat bag. This was sent to me actually a few years ago by the lovely Yokonika. It's a vintage dirndl. Instead of lacing up, this is something I really love about this, it's just a zip up, schwamp. Cinches everything together. It's so freaking cute. These little flaps. So stinking cute. I love the cut of it, everything. I am going to try to take the "I want it in every color" phrase and act on it to deconstruct this, make a pattern of it so that I have it and I can make different colors, different patterns. Now, I've never done something like this before. I guess the section of my sewing journey that I've never really explored before, I probably couldn't have until this point because I feel like I need a general knowledge of how patterns work and how clothing works before I can look at something and deconstruct it and make my own pattern out of it. Let's take a little look-see on how this was constructed. Now, of course, these are not magnified in any way, but they make me feel smart. Though, to be fair, I have made the recent discovery that I may need to get some power behind these lenses. Just a truly, truly thrilling YouTube channel I have here. Let's break it down. All right, so if we look at this, it's actually pretty simple. It's like one back piece and then two front side pieces, which is a lot less complicated than some of my corsets. One weird thing though is this dart that was put in. I don't know if this was put in after to try to adjust to whatever the person needed. So I'm just gonna ignore that part and treat it as part of the pattern. So that's the pattern, I think. Because I don't have a short separating zipper like this, now that Joanne's is enjoying her retirement in the sky, or enjoying being digested by Michaels. That's crazy, huh? I don't really have a place that I can go find this very specific zipper, and I don't have time to order one. For this, it's gonna be lace up. Also, if you look, this has this kind of, I don't know what this is called, like a corded bias tape kind of, running alongside the whole thing. It is very fortuitous. Duvet cover actually had that running along the outside. So what I've gone ahead and done is I have cut out a very long section of the border, ever so delicately harvested that bias tape. Quite simply, piece of fabric, this cord in it. This will run along the edge of the entire thing, keeping the lining and the outer layer together. Very ambitious for one day of creation that we have. With that being said, we gotta get to work. So I was most entirely winging it at this point, my dudes, but I think it actually worked. Once the pattern was marked out, all I had to do was cut it out, and I definitely did not get extremely annoyed during this part. Then I could do the back piece, which was much simpler because it was just on a fold. I just traced this out using my chalk marker because it was easier and it sounded like Donald Duck having a laugh. Are you ready? Let's try it on and see if this actually worked. Keep in mind though, this is gonna be a little big because I am gonna be folding over all of the edges. Drum roll. Careful, SpongeBob. Huh? By Job, I think we've done it. All right, all of this is gonna be folded over. I need to cut these little flaps like I did on the back. So as long as the fit is good, and then this is gonna get folded over a little, there is quite a lot of extra here. So I think I need to make this seam allowance even more so that it sucks it in like that, but it's not bad. So now what I need to do is cut out the lining layer. I think I'm actually just gonna use the IKEA bedsheet for the other side of this because I would like to make this reversible. If I make this as the outer layer, duplicate the same exact thing on the other side, boom, bow, reversible. And any embroidery I want to do on this, I just have to make sure I do before I attach the two layers. We're doing it. I feel like a real seamstress. I say this all the time, and I think it even more. But the fact that you can take nothing and make it into something, fabric, make it into clothing, it's still Absolutely blows my mind. Let's cut out the lining layer and then figure out where to go from there. This is all sewn. Time to see about this embroidery. Okay. Leaves. Did I make like a, oh yeah. And then there's like some smaller ones. That's gonna be freaking cute. Cute little vine embroidery with the leaves sticking out. I've got green embroidery thread and my embroidery hoop that I use for my machine and the will to make this whimsical as hell. Petition to make every piece of clothing anyone ever wears more silly and fun. I first had to sketch out what I wanted to actually embroider, and I went through a couple versions before I finally landed on the one that I liked. I'm always quite humbled by the difference of being decent at embroidery and then being decent at recording yourself doing embroidery. Had to make the other side completely symmetrical. That's better. Let me lock in. I wanted to take a second to thank everyone who came and saw me in New Zealand. It was such a whirlwind trip. It feels like it didn't even happen. I got to guest at my first international convention ever, a once-in-a-lifetime trip. I'm so, so grateful. And also thank you to everyone who purchased something, whether it be like a sticker, a print, a pin. We raised about $1,000-ish that I have donated to breast cancer research in honor of my beloved Katie. So yeah, it really meant a lot. I met so many freaking amazing people. Everyone was so pleasant and so nice. Also, big mention to anyone who brought me candy and treats. I am now stocked up on Whitaker's chocolate, and I thought that my luggage was gonna be overweight coming home. I don't know if you've ever held one of those bad boys, but it's solid. So thank you, I appreciate you so much. Got to go to Hobbiton. Still not convinced. If I had just pulled up in one of the closets, I don't know, just remained really still, I don't think I would have gotten caught. A vlog of that will be coming to Patreon, don't you worry. I also got to meet Lucy Lawless while I was dressed as Xena, and it's no secret that I bawled my eyes out. Yeah, well, she was so friggin' lovely and tall and gorgeous. By the way, I just had a lovely time. We also got to visit Weta Workshop, and we got like a little VIP tour thing and had lunch with some of the crew. I got to hold a genuine hobbit foot. You're welcome. We also went to this little cafe that was orange themed and saw the most perfect boy named Fred. I'm not saying that was up on the level of meeting Lucy Lawless. Doesn't he just look like his voice would be like, hello, I'm Fred. You got any treats for me? Anyways, I'm just feeling very grateful, but I did miss my boy and my girly so much. I am very much a homebody, so it is nice to be home. Literally thanks to you guys that I got to go in the first place. So I'm gonna keep on trucking the things we do to look like a fantastical bog witch. After that was done came the tedious task of pressing all of the sides down. This was very challenging, especially around the round bits, and I don't think I did the best job in the world. I also then had to do it to the lining layer. And then I took those two layers, took that cord and stuck it right in the middle and started pinning. Once again, not sure I did the most smashing job anyone's ever seen. But then came hand sewing, which took many hours. And naturally after that, I thought, why not just hand embroider all of these buttonholes? Moving on to the final touches, back on the dress, I took this lace trim pinned it to the dress, and then sewed it directly on. Also watched a YouTube tutorial on how to do a perfect bow, which I ended up not really even liking how it looked on the dress, so I didn't end up stitching it down. So there we go, slightly over schedule, but both pieces are done. Let's take a look.
Sings by the linden tree, its melody, is calling me. There's a sweetheart yearning for me day by day, so far away, in dreams we stray. How I long to hear the church bells sweetly chime, our love will rhyme, there'll come a time. Bright moonbeams twinkle on the rippling Rhine River, and my sweetheart waiting by the vine. Love dreams remind me I left my heart behind me by the dear old river Rhine.
Alright, my friends. A quick wrap up. You know the drill. What went well, what didn't go well, so on and so forth. First up, let's talk about the dress. I really love the dress. Admittedly, and as feared, the pattern is a bit loud and it's a bit busy. Kinda like it. When I was wearing it, I felt like Maria from Sound of Music. You can almost tell that it's made out of something like a bed sheet or a curtain or something. Big Von Trapp vibes, and that makes my little heart very happy. I'm happy with the construction of it. It fits really well. It's super comfy. It might be one of the only things I've ever made that when I wear it, I'm not like futzing with something or something is too tight or too loose or feels weird. Feels like a real piece of clothing, which I don't know, might sound obvious, but I think when you start making your own clothing, it's always nice when it feels like something that is sturdy and not gonna fall apart, you know? Moving on to this. It's not my favorite thing I've ever made, but I do enjoy that it feels like a mix of like piratey and then Peter Pan, Tinkerbell kind of vibes, and I really, really like that. Love the embroidery. I'm so glad that I did it. Disappears into the darker fabric, but I almost kind of like that because it's like a little peekaboo. Some weird wonky things with it. It is a little bit too loose. There's some warbling here when you tie it tight. Also because there's no structure, there's no interfacing, no boning. Two layers themselves are quite thin. When you cinch it, it kind of just like warbles together. Definitely just a loose fitting thing, but I think if I throw a belt on here, it would look really cute. I guess it's the product of classically not having a lot of time to make it and taking on way too much for a video. Me? No, I would never. Here, I do have to go in and stitch kind of raw edges right now because I ran out of time. It's not as bad when you're wearing it, I guess, but it's definitely kind of wonky. Now, I feel like if I had interfacing or something or a thicker fabric, maybe that wouldn't have happened and it would have been a little easier to stitch the two together. For taking something and making a pattern out of it, this is not a bad mock-up. And essentially that's kind of all it is. It's the first attempt. Sewing is a journey, all right? There's nothing quite as fulfilling as wearing something you made, especially when it's made out of just crazy things. I find a lot of joy in people saying, you know, oh, that's a pretty dress, and I can be like, thanks. It's bed sheets. I love creating clothes that make you go, oh. Anywho, that's it. Thank you so much, Thrive Market, for sponsoring this video once again. If you would like to save 30% off of your first order and a free gift, you can head to the link in my description or head to thrivemarket.com/RachelMaksy. And I love you, whether you're new or old to this channel. If you're new here and you feel like sticking around, feel free to subscribe. I upload every other Friday, and we have fun here. And I will see you in my next video. Bye. A dressed base. Bleh. My house is a mess, but I don't have time to clean it. If you could only see the pile that I made to actually be able to sit here. No, don't look at it. So I helped myself up. Didn't work. Mr. Trash Man, here you go. Like a little, like a mid-number side stream. My last 2 brain cells are working overtime, okay.